Public Works and Commission Planning. With a pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Are there any additions or changes to the agenda?
There are none.
None. Okay. Is there a motion to approve the agenda? It's been moved and supported. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The agenda is approved as printed. Approval of the April 10th minutes.
Come on, guys, I can't do everything.
I'll move it, I wasn't here, but that's great.
I'll support.
It's been moved.
I'm not moving it on principle.
Thank you, gentlemen. It's been moved and supported. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The minutes are approved as printed. We have limited public comments, and comments are limited to 3 minutes. Is there any? Hearing none, we will go on to the Drain Commissioner's report.
Morning.
Morning.
Okay, you all received the annual report. Any of you have individual questions or?
Short report for you.
I can go over a few things because we'd be here forever with all these numbers, so. The year of 2023 total for partition and drain maintenances came out to $14,367,745.69. Total spent in the year of 23. And the petitions, we had, 17 total, which aren't all done yet. They're under construction. Bentley Depew is done. The Cooper Foston Reynolds is done. The Cummings Drains is 80% done. And the Watson & Watson is completed. That's up in Delta. The Hobart Drain was presented in 2017, and they put a hold on that because they don't know what direction they want to go on the repairs or upgrades. So that's on hold to this 24 year. So, and the Brown Drain has been there since 2016, and we're finally getting some help through the Eaton County Road Commission, Matt Hannis. And once they fix the road, everybody knows where it is on Spicerville, the flooding area. They're going to replace a type of not a bridge, but pilings. So once they get the road stable, we can put the new drain underneath it. Because there's no sense of us doing it and it's sinking, and then they do the road. So they gotta do the road first. So that's why that's been there so long. And the Dillon Drain is under construction. It's about 85% done. And the Trumbull is under construction. That's in Carmel Township, and that's about 75% done due to all the rain that he's having trouble keeping the water back as he's trying to dig, so hopefully we can get some dry weather stepping forward here. And with Bob Robinson's help, we was able to put the drain accounts into interest-bearing accounts. And for the year of '23, I brought in a little over $1.2 million in interest. That would have normally just sat there and collected nothing. So I think that's really good. And that goes, of course, back to the drainage districts. So other than that, do you have any other questions? And, I'll bring this up for, the Bank Intercounty drain is gonna be presented by, to the Controller's Office and Spicer on an update as soon as, one of you guys set a date. And they'll present that, because that's huge. So, that's, you know,
Okay, Richard, I'm gonna put you on the spot. You probably know, and your phone's blown up, and so is mine, over the, in my district, the Sandstone Creek. And you've done a really nice job. Quite honestly, people were very disheartened when they saw the cleaning going on in there. They thought it was gonna be, a mess, and you've done your contractors did a good job. But the remaining issue, and tell me what you know about it, are the logs that are left behind. There are 100 logs laying on the county property, essentially up to people's backyards. And do we have a plan to deal with that?
well, anything money can handle could take care of that. But we're probably looking at another $20,000 to remove the logs.
So you're planning on leaving the logs where they are?
Usually it's the landowner's wood. It's within the easement. And I know there's one guy, looks out his window, and they were stacked too high, so we went back there and removed them half down, and he still don't like it. And I think that's probably who you're,
No,
Mr. Nelson or whatever.
There are a couple more of them. You know, when you did the work, I probably got 30 calls
Well,
process.
they were shocked.
Yeah. And just for all your information, I mean, the tornado literally covered that drainage with hundreds of trees that were all falling every which way. It was just an absolute mess, and they sat there for a year. And Richard's office went through, and just with big chippers and excavators, and they just did a massive amount of cleanup in there. And so now it's all clean, but the logs are all laying there in
You
people's
actually see the
backyards.
water now.
You can see the water, you can see across the water to,
Yep,
and so, good job.
thank you.
But they're still asking about the logs. So you're telling me that the landowners may have them if they want?
Right, we technically, legally can't take them. Now, if they say they don't want them, anybody in this room could go get them.
Well, how do you
But they
get
got,
them?
well, they'd have to have equipment. I mean, anywhere, you know what I'm saying, anywhere.
Just throw 'em in your
There's a few that we've gave away to the Amish, but they had equipment, but they can't get in too far, because their stuff ain't big enough. Because they rent everything from whoever,
So you got all these,
hundreds of logs.
you got hundreds of logs laying on county easement, but in people's backyards.
Right,
And we've got no plan. It's just kind of up to the homeowners. If they have logs, deal with them as they see fit.
right. They can sell it or put it free on Facebook or whatever, but you gotta get back there and it's rough.
Well, the fact that they can sell it, to me, that's questionable.
Because it's their own,
Well, it's our logs, right?
no, it ain't our logs. I mean, we have an easement to get on there and remove them, but we don't own the logs.
So the property owner
Property
owns the
owners.
logs. You just gave all the property owners hundreds of logs.
Yeah, well,
They can do what they want with them.
right, we just have nowhere to go with them. They're cottonwoods. Nobody wants cottonwood.
Okay,
Brian, you had a question?
Yeah, to Mr. Mulder's point, there are plenty of people around here, and Richard's right. Not everybody wants cottonwood. It's not good wood. But there's a guy in Potterville that does logs, firewood, stuff like that. If they want to call around, they'll find somebody that'll come get them out of there. I understand it's frustrating, but yeah, it is the property owners.
We've called the pallet companies, that's what pallets are made from.
Yep.
And they all turned it down. They said it was
Oh, no kidding.
too expensive to go in there and get it.
Yeah, because trees already cut down are hard to get.
Yeah. Well, not really, but it's just hard to get back there.
Question, Richard. I'm assuming you were referring to Creepy Swamp.
Right.
Okay. Can you tell us what is going to be done down there to hopefully minimize the
Well,
flooding, if not
they're-
eliminate
They're
it?
engineering it now. Well, I've heard with a floating style road on pylons, I guess they've used them up in the thumb area, like right through here, where they got a lot of swamp, and the roads work good. They're almost like foam that they set the road on that can move and not break apart. Anyway, it's over $1 million for that stretch. And I did get that much out of Matt.
Okay. I had a conversation with Blair Blue before he retired, and he said that basically that portion under the road is bottomless, in his opinion.
Well, it's 40 feet of muck.
Yeah. So we're going to float the road and then put drains underneath it to help with the water.
That's set on pylons that go 60, 80 feet
All right.
into the hard surface.
All right. Very good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions for the Drain Commissioner? No. Thank you for your report.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thanks, Richard. See ya.
Yep.
Construction Code, you're up.
Hey, Brandy.
Hi. Good morning. So in the report, the only action item is the master plan, which was recommended by the Planning Commission for approval to Public Works and Planning, then to Board of Commissioners. The Eaton County Planning Commission did vote to leave the property in Carmel and Eaton Township adjacent to I-69 and Cochrane Road as general business, future plan for general business versus the requested industrial.
I will move it.
Okay, it's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? It passes.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, that was short and sweet.
Run away.
Randy, can I ask a question? And I've
Do
talked to Chris
apologize,
about
yes.
this, Madam Chair. May I?
Okay,
Sorry. Again, I know I've missed the last few months, so I apologize, but the OI building, those of us in the Charlotte territory are still getting calls from the 5 Hour Energy people or whoever they are. Has there been any continual meetings on that, to your knowledge?
Yes, we actually, our inspectors are there weekly.
Okay.
It's a standing inspection for all inspectors every Tuesday.
Right.
In addition, Mr. Garrison and I have taken additional meetings
Yeah.
for the leaders of Michigan Can Line. They're moving along beautifully.
Okay.
They just passed their plan review for their addition. Just spoke with James.
So the whole storage versus manufacturing thing got resolved?
It's all resolved.
Very good. Thank you so much.
Yes, we were actually we were speaking to the energy code.
Yeah.
We actually found where they would be exempt per the Michigan Rehabilitation Code because they're considered a level 3 rehab project.
Okay, great. Thank you.
any other questions for Brandy? Okay, thanks, Brandy.
Thank you. They just call me now.
DIA, you're next.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Some general updates for everybody. We're reviewing our SWAG and SWOL grant reports, developing some new recycling programs for the county, collaborating with counties and townships, and implementing some education programs around the county about recycling, environmental sustainability. We just attended the 42nd Annual Michigan Recycling Coalition conference, which is sponsored by and put on by Eagle. And the importance of this is mostly the department was able to meet with Eagle officials about the materials management plan process and able to get into discussions and ask plenty of questions for the state of Michigan and in order to anticipate what's coming up for the MMP process. So the coalition conference was very successful in that regard. And our education programs, we performed 2 events last month, Lockwood Science Night and the Grand Ledge Public Library. They're both very well attended and received. Update on our county programs or projects. Our spring cleanup recycling event is next weekend, next Saturday, the 18th in Delta Township. We have really solid registration. Previously, I stated that our goal is to get up to 500 participants to maximize the efficiency of the funds that we put towards the events. And we are currently at 394. So we anticipate we'll probably get in the next week or so, another 50 or so signups, getting us very close to that 500 target. And our ad was placed in the County Journal with the help of our Director of Communications, Logan Bailey. And an update on the Eagle Rural Recyclings Grant. If some of you can recall, this was the grant with Delta Township a few years ago, where the intention was to increase rural electronics recycling in Eaton County. And the intention of the grant was to build additional infrastructure at Delta Township Recycling Center where they could store electronics materials. And the reason for this is because events are very costly, doing one-time events. And so by doing ongoing collection of electronics for recycling and being able to store them on site would greatly reduce the costs for recycling electronics. And based on project delays and inflation, Delta Township is no longer going to be a part of the grant. And the grant funds that were allocated to building infrastructure was $32,000 or is $32,000. And the department has been meeting with Eagle staff, Steve Noble, to discuss how we can move forward with this grant with Delta Township being out of it. And the department came up with a new proposal. We examined whether putting on more events, working with the recycling centers, building more infrastructure, and looking at a mobile recycling trailer for electronics. And based on the grant funds and the resources of the department, we discussed with Steve Noble the ability to use the funds for a mobile electronics recycling trailer. So much like the recycling trailer that we have already ordered and should be on its way shortly. And the intention of this is to purchase a snowmobile trailer, about an 8.5 by 20-foot trailer. We already have the truck to haul it. And we would be able to take the electronics recycling trailer to the existing recycling centers throughout the county and offer year-round rural electronics recycling options for our community here. And so with the $32,000, we would like to amend the budget and be able to allocate these funds towards a recycling trailer. We would like to have it painted and designed certain ways. And we do need other equipment like a pallet jack in order to make this a functional program. And so, and we would be able to utilize the funds for developing the recycling trailer program.
Yes, Blake.
I love the idea for the electronics recycling. But it's one thing to get it into your trailer, and then the process of unloading it and getting it back to the people that take the electronics. To me, that seems like the hard part. What's the plan for that?
Correct. So the primary cost would be transportation and delivery of materials. In discussions with Steve Noble, he is runs Recycling Jackson in Jackson County. It does touch a small part of the southeast part of our county. And he's the electronics recycling for Eagle. And through his center, he offered to take our electronics.
Do you have to sort them and
Yeah.
separate all the bits and pieces? And, I mean, that's a big process, isn't it? You just throw it all in a dumpster, into a crate and...
Yeah, the idea is we would, in the trailer, we would have Gaylords, the big storage boxes on pallets, and be able to maneuver them with pallet jacks. And then we would be able to drop the Gaylords off at Recycle Jackson, where he'll be able to sort and process the electronics recycling.
So I know, when your trailer is full, you'll essentially drive it to Jackson,
Correct.
dump it, and go back out for another load.
Yep, and the intention of getting the larger trailers so we can store more, because the cost, again, is in transportation and delivery.
Right.
Yep.
Ms. Terrence?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Hey, Jared, so what about they're willing to take the electronics. Do we have to pay for that, or are they just willing to take them at no charge?
They're willing to take them at no charge. And if we do have to drop them off at a recycling facility, electronics recycling facility, Steve Noble notified us that there are grant funds available to cover the cost of delivering the electronics to the facilities.
Okay, great, because I know in the past we've contracted for one-time events and had to pay people to take the electronics
Right.
away. So no, this is fabulous. I mean, to me, this is a major concern, all these electronics going in the landfill, and so being able to recycle these at the different sites, I think that's a great idea. So did you get final approval from, was it Eagle who was giving us the grant, from the granting authority, that we could use it to purchase the trailer, or you say you're still waiting on that?
We have preliminary approval. I told Steve that I would need to talk to the board before we move forward with any solid numbers or plans, but we do have preliminary budgets and preliminary operational plans in place.
Okay,
There's a resolution in the packet for the board to approve the amendment to the grant through Eagle.
right, yeah, I saw that,
That's
so.
passed, then he can submit the.
Okay, but preliminarily, they said yes, so
Yeah.
just the technicalities of it. So would your plan then be to take this to the different recycling centers throughout the county when they're open and have that available for the residents in those areas? Is that kind of the thought process?
Yeah, operationally, we're looking at having it at each center every other month. So they would be at each center 6 times a year, which would greatly increase the opportunities for people to recycle.
Okay, great.
And between the 4 centers, we'd be able to, yeah.
Maybe
cover a
even,
lot of the county.
maybe even look at some of the other areas that don't have recycling centers, if there's like township halls or something that we could park it at for a certain day or something like that.
Correct, we're looking at that too, to
Awesome.
move it around the county.
Okay, sounds good. Great idea, thank you.
Any other questions?
I'll move the resolution. Support.
It's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
All right, and update on the Eagle Infrastructure Grant, specifically the recycling trailer. In your packet, there should be a rendering of the design. We do have everything on our end that we need submitted, so we're just waiting for them to finish painting, and then they'll be delivering it. And so there is a rendering. We did choose a gray color with the new county seal, and the county seal will be in color, so the colors will really pop. And we'll have good advertising driving the trailer around the county, and showing that we really value recycling.
Any idea on a delivery date yet?
No idea yet. So hopefully by June, we're looking at. All right, and an update, there's also in your packet, a MOU for Calhoun County, Charlotte Area Recycling Authority Hub and Spoke Pilot. We've been working with our recycling centers and adjacent counties and Metro Recycling, And in order to increase the efficiencies and reduce the cost of plastics recycling, we're going to be working with Calhoun County and CARA throughout the year, taking plastics from Calhoun County and CARA to Sunfield. And by doing this, we'll be able to aggregate our materials and be able to broker and sell them at a faster rate. So we'd be able to move our plastics and move our products at a faster rate. And as far as the county is concerned, these programs should cost no money for us. In your packet is an MOU for Calhoun County, where Calhoun County is going to be charged for the plastics that they deliver. And so they're going to be covering the transportation costs, and we'll just be able to store them at the Sunfield Recycling Center. And we will be keeping the sales of materials, the revenue from sales of materials from Calhoun County. And with CARA, Metro Recycling Solutions, will be moving materials from CARA to Sunfield Recycling Center at no charge to us. So Metro Recycling Solutions, our broker, will be able to transport and help aggregate the materials for us in order to, again, meet the volumes that we need to sell the materials at a lower cost and more efficiently for us here at the county.
Yes, Terrence?
Just a quick question on that, Jared. I think that's great that they're willing to move that for us. Just the memorandum, does it take care of, I mean, I know sometimes these markets change, right? So we might be able to sell plastics today, but maybe in 6 months we have to pay to have somebody take them. Is there something in here to make sure that if something changes with that cost structure, that would get passed on to Calhoun, or we could end the contract if we were losing money, that kind of thing?
I was not expecting that to be the case. Yeah, for us to be charged to
I just want to make sure that if something changes in the markets and now this program is costing us money, and we may decide that a minimal cost is okay, but
Yeah.
just want to make sure that there is an out for us. So I just saw that somebody magically highlighted something on here, so
Thank you very much. Yes, there is a clause. Yeah.
see that.
I'll move it.
Support.
Wait a minute, yes,
I'm curious as to what Calhoun gets out of this. I mean, he just raised the point that we don't want to, we essentially, I guess, don't want to lose money on this. Calhoun's paying us, so do we really think that they're going to have very much volume that we're going to have to deal with? Because this doesn't sound like Calhoun's going to make out very well out of this, other than somebody's going to take their plastic off their hands.
Yeah, Calhoun County, they have a robust recycling center down in Marshall, and they have no infrastructure or storage. So much of Calhoun County is run through a recycling trailer like we're going to be receiving. And so one of the major difficulties is they don't have access to indoor storage, and also they can't find any brokers to come pick up the materials. So our relationship with Metro Recycling Solutions, our proximity is much better for the sale of materials. So Calhoun County, they can't move the materials on their own from their centers. And so through Sunfield Recycling Center and our broker, we're able to move the products.
So this is basically going to be a loss leader for Calhoun County?
Correct.
Okay.
yes, Brian?
I'm assuming that you're referring to household plastics, or do you also include agricultural plastics like twine, bale wrap, and that sort of thing?
Primarily household plastics, and we're starting with number 5 plastics from Calhoun County. And if we can have a successful program and everything runs sufficiently, we can look at expanding that to other plastics. Currently, in the state of Michigan, the only place that accepts ag plastics is Sunfield Recycling Center. So, and beyond delivery of materials by the farmer, that's the primary way to access ag plastic recycling in the county.
Thank you.
Okay,
Since you mentioned that Sunfield's the only place that takes ag plastic, what are we doing to generate more business in that respect? I mean, that was a wonderful idea when it was first proposed to us. It doesn't seem to have gone very far, but it still, I think, carries with it a great opportunity. This is an agricultural state. So I would think that there's more than enough of ag plastic out there that we could make a real dent if we could get people to utilize it. Are we making any efforts to promote that or expand that in any way to get that off the ground?
Debbie can speak on that.
Good work.
Currently, I try to attend any program through the Conservation District. They have a lot of outreach with farmers. At this point, there really hasn't been a lot of interest. We have a flyer that we put out, we have a postcard, but we don't have the funds to mail the postcard, so we just put them places so that people can see them. I think we've discussed that in the past, that our partners in this have kind of, as far as I personally am concerned, left us high and dry. The advertising was supposed to be handled by the Michigan Recycling Coalition. They have done no advertising since the beginning. They did purchase the postcards that they sent us.
Well, that was nice.
So I do think that it is grossly not enough people know about it. I would love to see it advertised better, but we don't have the funding to do it.
Well, there are studies all over the place for all kinds of things and all kinds of minutia, how we live our lives. I don't know. I assume there's some type of studies out there to indicate how much ag plastic we're talking about, and I suspect it's a substantial amount. It's too bad. I don't know. I mean, I'm hoping that now that we have a full staff over there, that you guys are looking at how to reconstitute the Resource Recovery Department to meet the needs of the 21st century. It was constituted originally for a particular problem that doesn't seem to be with us anymore. And then that would be something that you would look into and see what we can do to maybe get that off the ground.
Within the farming community, though, the one thing I hear almost every time I talk to someone is the 8 cents per pound. They are not interested in paying to drop it off.
So I assume they're just putting it in landfills?
Some of them burn it.
Well, that's
Some
not-
of them will hire a dumpster. When we first started the program, we took the cost of a dumpster and tried to figure out how much material would go into it. And that's where we came up with that 8 cents per pound to try to meet that so that we could say the cost is the same. But it's not the same with their time. They have to clean it up. They have to get the big rocks off it. No one wants to pay per pound for a rock. They have to put it in bundles that are manageable. They can just take their tractor, throw it in this dumpster without having to do any of that extra work or without having to do the travel time.
So if we had a trailer and went around to farm to farm to farm, that wouldn't necessarily solve
If we weren't charging the 8 cents per pound, I think, and we went and picked it up, I imagine we'd have a number of people who would jump on board.
We might look into that since we appear to be getting into the trailer business.
Tim?
Joe just touched on what I was going to say. So if we can come up with a program utilizing the trailer, I don't know if there's some grant money or something that would solve this problem, because I know the farmers would definitely at least store it. If there was a pickup, a date or something, and we could get, information out to them, because I think that is the only way we're going to solve this problem of ag plastics.
So unfortunately, this grant, which did come from Eagle, went to the Michigan Recycling Coalition. And, we haven't seen one penny of help for this fiscal year. We've had small amounts of help in the past, but,
I wonder if Farm Bureau, Michigan Farm Bureau would be assistance in this.
they were a partner in this.
They've-
So if the conservation people ask you for a donation again this year, just keep your checkbook in your pocket.
Terrence?
Well, Debbie, I was just wondering, because I don't recall, we've had a couple of different conversations at this committee about whether we wanted to continue taking the plastics or not. And I'm trying to remember if it was a cost issue or just we weren't getting enough volume and that was the problem. But I almost feel like, maybe I'll just stop guessing and let you tell me again. But was there a marketing issue? What was the issue that we were trying to figure out why, and where did we settle on that?
All right, so the marketing issue was with East Jordan Iron Works.
Right,
EJ USA.
they were bringing us good stuff and it was getting mixed, right?
Right, and no one wanted the mixed stuff, and I was particularly concerned if no one wanted the mixed stuff, would whoever bought it throw away?
Right,
We put a lot, the farmers who did bring
Right.
it, put a lot of work into
Yeah.
it to have it thrown away.
yeah.
So currently, we were separating the EJ USA materials.
Yep.
And the only thing that's keeping the price down on that right now is the water volume of the bales.
Yeah.
They store it outside, it comes in wet. If it was dry, we could market that for, of course, the market fluctuates, but it runs sometimes up to 13 to 17 cents a pound. So that's what we were going for with separating those. Get that money coming in, keep the program going. We're not getting that because of the water volume, but we're still getting in by far more plastics from EJ USA than even our number 1s, 2s, and 5s
Oh, wow.
in Sunfield. So, but we've also talked in this group about separating them. So
Yeah.
we could continue to take the LLDPE from East Jordan and stop the ag plastic program that was from greenhouses, farmers, and have them be two separate issues.
But do you have somebody to market the ag plastics too? I was thinking that was an issue, was that you didn't have anybody that would buy the ag plastic.
Oh, okay, yes. Originally, the MRC was supposed to do the marketing.
Right, yeah.
That went very poorly. Matter of fact, I almost got scammed. Thankfully, I read that contract one last time before I signed it. We probably would have ended up paying someone to take it at that point. So I reached out to Metro Recycling Solutions, who is our broker for the other materials there, and they were able to find us a local buyer at 2 cents a pound.
Okay, so we are able to sell it. Okay, so the problem now is just volume. We just need more of it.
And the MRC wasn't particularly thrilled with me for doing that.
What they want you to do with it.
I guess wait for them to handle it eventually, but at that point, we already had 2 trailer loads full,
right.
and the center was just bursting.
Yeah,
So,
okay.
as far as I know, as far as the grant from Eagle, this is the third and last year. The MRC received the grant this year. I think we can pull out of it anytime we want. As far as I know, I could definitely look through our, any contracts that we have besides that. That's really hard for me to even consider because I have put so much sweat equity in this program.
Well, and that's where I was going, because I love the idea and we've talked about it, that, taking a trailer around and picking it up from the farmers, but, I just don't want to put too much into it now if we're not going to continue it. So the grant, you say we're in the third year of the grant program, but you also said that we haven't really seen anything from MRC. So are we getting any funds for this?
No.
So the grant program is really irrelevant. We're basically doing it on our own right now.
Yes, I mean,
So in your opinion
I don't even
then-
have a contact right now with the MRC. I haven't had one since August.
Gotcha. So in your opinion, then, we could move forward, would you suggest that we move forward in trying to find a way, if we can find a way in our budget to generate more volume, to do that, as has been discussed here, or?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay,
I mean, that's what it always comes down to, is budget, and we're a small department.
right, yeah,
And Jared has some fantastic ideas on how to grow this department, but we have to take baby steps, because some of these programs, Jared and I will be out there actually running
Right.
them, and then we'll have to come to you and say, hey, we need to hire another,
yeah, yeah.
we have so much going on right now that I don't know that we have the staff to, I mean, we certainly can start the planning,
Gotcha, sure.
but whether we would have the staff to start it right.
So that might need to be part of the whole transformation of the department into the, as we've been discussing throughout the years, the more county-ran recycling centers. And once you, I can see how that would all work together. When you hire or contract with somebody to work at those different facilities, then they can be the people that we hire to collect the ag plastics too, and things like that, so.
In this electronics program, we discussed the fact that what we're asking for in this grant is all equipment that we can use for other programs
Right.
also.
Yeah, very good.
Right.
All right, great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Good report this morning.
Yes, Blake?
This one's for Connie. On the financial report for this department, what are the transfers in? Something from the general budget?
Yes, we do have a transfers in that we've had for the last couple of years for 81,000. That was to cover the cost of the director's budget for health insurance and wages.
Okay.
So we've left that in there. We're evaluating it for next year.
Right.
But obviously, the program is expensive in terms of what we're doing, so I'm not necessarily anticipating right now that we eliminate it or suggesting, but obviously with the budget, we may have
Just,
to.
when I look at it, and this really is more Ways and Means question more, we always talk about the department being self-sufficient when actually it's not. We have a transfer in, so it's not that there's anything wrong with that, it's just
Right.
how it is. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Well,
Oh, Terrence?
yeah, just a quick comment on that, Blake. I think, that's part of what we need to evaluate as we evaluate looking at what a new budget looks like with this recycling center, as we see that we want to move it forward and try to figure out, which we started down that path, and then we got Jared on board, so now we're going to hopefully take some more steps down that path. But as part of that, we know that we're going to have to look at the current surcharge that hasn't been changed since the program started, and I think, that's where we will find general fund relief, is through reevaluating that current surcharge, which I think is going to have to happen anyways, just to do what we think that we need to do. And I think that we could get support from a lot of our local elected officials, because of course we know there's been pressure on us from different municipalities throughout the last couple of years to try to figure out a new way to do this and to take this over. So I think that would be addressed as part of that review too, which hopefully comes soon. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
Do we still have a motion on the floor? The Calhoun,
Is there a motion?
I don't think, did we ever vote on that?
I'm not sure, so I guess we better.
Yeah, we did have a motion here.
Yeah, it was moved to approve the MOU with
Yeah.
Calhoun County. It was moved and
weird?
seconded.
Yeah.
And we voted on it.
I'm not sure if we did, so
Okay,
let's.
well,
do that
let's
real
vote,
quick, just to
okay?
make Sure.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. And last, materials management plan update. Previously, I had a timetable for the commissioners here of what steps we need to be taking to be in compliance with the new Part 115 update for the materials management plan. Last month, the board voted to be authorized as the county approval agency. And the next step in that process is for the county approval agency to appoint a designated planning agency to oversee the development of the county's material management plan. And the resolution in your packet is just simply stating that the county approval agency is authorizing the Department of Resource Recovery and specifically to contact the department director, which would be myself, as the primary contact person for the development of the materials management plan and for the materials management planning committee. Yes, so that resolution.
I'll move the resolution.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
All right, thank you. Any other questions?
I guess not. Thank you for your report
you.
today. Parks is up.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Just a kind of a quick update on the Lincoln Brick House, which I don't have, unfortunately, a lot of updates. As far as the asbestos, we're still waiting back for the results on that. And then Commissioner Droza did ask to look into the possibility about swapping lands. I do have a call in for that information, but have not received anything back. So I don't have any additional updates for the Lincoln Brick House. Pinch Road seems to be a little bit of a concern for some residents, so I wanted to make sure I added some pictures and gave a little bit of information on this. In the back of your packet, you should find two pictures. This is the back entrance to Pinch Road, which accesses Fox Park. I'm not sure if this was ever really a truly designated area to get into Fox Park. But when I first started, we were having issues with ORVs, quads, and occasional horse riders accessing this park. It was taking up county resources as far as park staff as well as law enforcement. So after the storm went through in August, we had quite a bit of trees that fell in this location. I instructed the guys to not clear this for many reasons. One being limiting the access for these unauthorized users and vehicles, and as well as the lack of parking on the side of this road. I don't know if anybody's familiar with this road, but you really can't park safely off of this road. So I consider that kind of a hazard myself. So just wanted to give you guys an update that we don't have any plans to ever open this up currently, I guess I should say, to users. I think it would be better for everybody if we limited that access as well. April 24th, I met with the Williams and Works Company, and we went through 4 of our parks, Crandall, Fox, Fitz, and Lincoln Brick. We got a lot of great information, feedback, ideas, started with this group. This is the group that's in charge of doing our strategic plan for those 4 park locations. We had a representative from the city of Grand Ledge. It was great. Everybody seemed to be on the same page. And again, we had just a lot of great suggestions. So pretty excited to see what they're able to give us with the feedback that we provided to them after they were able to get their boots on the ground and actually see these park locations. Dyer Kiln, currently I'm only waiting on a W-9 to be returned to me. I've inquired about this a couple times to see if I can offer any assistance for the contractor. I have not heard anything yet, but I'm still working on this, and I hope to have that W-9 completed and returned very soon. And once that's returned to us, the work on the Dyer Kiln should start fairly quickly. We had the Eaton County Community Grant Program ended with 12 applications from 9 municipalities. 3 projects were awarded for funding, and I believe there should be information in your packets pertaining to this information as well. Couple of projects we've been working on. Ethan Jacobs, the new naturalist, he developed QR codes for us for Fitzgerald and Lincoln Park, and we'll expand this to the other parks. And essentially, people can use their smartphone. I don't know if anybody has gone out to restaurants lately and they've gone with paperless menus, where you take your smartphone, scan it with your camera, and it automatically downloads their menu onto that. Same thing here. So this is really great for quite a few reasons. If our maps are gone, if they've been exhausted and they've not been replenished, users still can access those parks, the trails, with that QR code. It also will hopefully cut down on cost for us with less printing of these maps. And then the obvious, environmental impact is less waste going into receptacles once people are done with these maps. So I think that's a nice little project that he was able to work on. There's also a list of current naturalist projects that are taking place. I've added some pictures of some recent projects that we were involved in. Mustic garlic cleanup, which is an invasive species at Lincoln Brick Park. We actually used AB and L students for this, so it was a great learning experience for them. And it just, it really helps promote that stewardship, in young people to, really get that connection to the environment and how important it is. We also participated in the Grand Ledge Library Earth Day celebration. And again, we had a nice little display there. The feedback we got from that was all positive, very excited about it. And that's really all I have. I would like to add, we had a situation last Saturday, I'm not going to go into details about, but just in the future, if you guys have any issues that are brought to your attention, please feel like you can reach out to us immediately, whether that's myself or the Parks office. And, we can provide any additional information or background information. There's, I don't know how many complaints or anything you guys are getting, but again, I want this group to feel like they can contact us at any point in time and absolutely get any type of discussion started and, come to some type of resolution, so.
Are there any questions?
There's still the resolution.
Yes,
Did you,
you had a question.
okay, is there a resolution that we've acted on, so we have
We
to
have
vote
not
on?
acted on it. You still
we
need to
need to
act
talk
on the
about that.
resolution for the parks grants.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, I had a question in regards to the Williams and Works tours of the parks, Travis. When we met as a parks group, it was my understanding that the parks group was gonna get invited to those walkthroughs.
I was told that they did reach out, but they didn't get any feedback, or some of the members from the Parks group did not.
Who reached out, Williams and Works?
I thought it was
or-
Williams and Works, or possibly, I don't know if Claudine was involved in that discussion.
Okay. All right. Well, I was just a little disappointed that I missed that and that we'd missed the opportunity to work with our partners in Grand Ledge too, specifically on Fitzgerald, and get some of the elected officials there as opposed to just the staff.
Yeah,
so.
I was surprised as well. I thought we would have more people at that location, but I'll check with Williams and Works, but I thought they told me that they had reached out to everybody in that email chain that's currently going around, that I think Jim Mott actually just got on yesterday. So, yeah, I was
Okay.
a little surprised about that as well.
Okay, well, I can double check and see. I don't recall getting an email from them, but I'll double check.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, Jim?
Yeah, how long ago did the W2, did that go out to the contractor for the kiln?
The W-9, I'd have to look back at my email, but it's been a couple weeks now, and I have had a couple follow-up emails. So the email that I'm using is actually not associated with the business itself, because they do not have an email.
Yeah.
But from what I understand, the email that was provided to me is a young lady that assists in the office. And I know Pat Terrell was going to reach out as well to see if there's any issues. But I've followed up a couple times on that, just to make sure that first it was received. You never know with spam and everything else. And I haven't received any feedback from that as of yet.
Yeah, it's just a small family business, I know, and sometimes they'll.
Yes, yeah, and that's
Can
what.
scare them and not.
Yeah, and that was one reason I reached out. I wanted to see if I could offer any assistance on that. But I did talk to, I'm sorry, I'm forgetting her name, but she runs the office. But I did give her a heads up that I would be sending that over, and then once I receive that back, we will, be moving forward pretty quickly.
Yeah, that's good, because sometimes if they don't, they got another job to do, they'll go do that before they
Right,
do something that seems more complicated, so.
Russ, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? No?
Madam Chair,
Action on the resolution.
I'd be happy to.
Resolution?
I would be happy to move the Parks grants.
For support? It's been moved and supported. All those, any discussion?
Go ahead.
Yes,
I'd like-
Blake.
I would like to thank the committee for, there was a good representation from throughout the county for different requests, and they kind of spread them around. And, I was lobbied by one group that didn't get a grant, but I was lobbied by another that did. So I'm pleased to see that, that we spread it around a little bit and different people got a little funding. So thank you.
Any others? Yes.
Well, I'll just throw some commentary in there. I thought that it was nice. We did receive slightly fewer grants than last year, or grant applications, I should say, but there were some really cool projects. We're really excited about the project that Eaton Rapids is undertaking to convert an old school building into a community center. I think that's going to be a great project for not just the city of Eaton Rapids, but the surrounding areas. So, yeah, there were several good applications, and this year we were able to keep our grant approvals within the budget that we had set, so happy to do that as well. But to Blake's point too, yeah, there were a couple of new entries that didn't receive funds last year. We had a lot of repeat applicants, people that had received funds last year and requested more funds. So I think that's a good testament to the fact that they thought the program worked well, and they were able to utilize the monies for their park system. So again, one of the main things that we wanted to try to do was try to spread this throughout the county, and I think we did that this year. So thanks to Claudine and Travis and to everybody that put work into this process. So again, I think it went very well this year and smoother than last year. So thank you.
I think kind of a lesson to be learned, you would know better, but I think if a community group wants to have a project, some matching funds probably seem to help.
Yeah,
I mean, they're the ones that got the most attention.
well, I mean, our scoring definitely favors those that are able to match. We understand, especially some of the smaller projects, and I think, this year we didn't get as many smaller grant applications as last year. We had several that were the smaller dollar, 5,000 type grant applications. The matching wasn't as crucial because, those are the communities that don't have a lot of money and the ability to match. But, there is ways too, and that was one of the things that we talked about in the committee to try to get out to the townships and to the cities is, if you don't, in villages, if you don't have the ability to, come up with funds, just if you can get a partnership with somebody to get some in-kind donation from, local groups or local contractors to help out, at least then there is some additional skin in the game. And, that wouldn't necessarily score as high as, some of these had 40% match. But it would certainly make it more attractive. And, we understand that not everybody has the money to put into it, but if you have the partnerships, and that's another thing that we score on too, is just how well you work with your public and private partners in the area. So, whenever you see people working with other groups, it not only shows that they have the ability to go out and get some funding for this project, which should tell you that it's a valid project, but also, again, those people are supportive of the project too, so that kind of tells you that there's more interest than just the one group that's applying too, so it all adds up to, in my opinion, a better project overall. So, but certainly, matching absolutely helps. So, thank you.
Any other comments? We moved it, right? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Any other,
Nope, that's it.
right?
Thank you.
You're welcome, thank you. We are on to landfill.
Yes. Chad is here.
Good morning. Nothing real earth-shattering with the landfill. They were doing their semi-annual monitoring and replacement of monitor wells out at the old reclaimed landfill in, I believe it's Benton Township. Kind of normal stuff, nothing to be concerned with, but we'll continue to monitor. Any questions?
So 200 pages on this thing and about all kinds of, I have no idea what the hell they were.
You didn't read it all?
I flipped through it. I hit every page, but I didn't understand any of it. So basically, you boiled it down to no worries.
Correct. Yep, and that's why we hire the third party to handle that for us.
I mean, there was even pieces of paper in here about chain of custody, and I'm thinking, holy crap, are we going to the courts with this stuff? I don't understand, but, okay. Well, I feel better now.
Okay.
Nothing to see here.
Maybe that's done. No, if there was anything, they would have brought it to my attention, and I don't know about all the legalese in there and the whys and why nots, but,
Well, the bottom line is that whatever contamination we have in there, it hasn't reached a point where we need to spend some money to clean it up or make any changes.
you're correct, yes.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Any miscellaneous?
No.
No. Limited public comments? Yes,
This is not,
Brian.
this is back to miscellaneous. We were talking about the Pinch Road area into Fox Park. Where does the landfill lay in relation to that portion of the park? Does anybody know?
They all just walked out.
Everybody's going, okay. Well, we were talking about possibly limiting access, and I wondered if maybe a fence that would tie into the landfill fence might be appropriate. But anyway, okay, we'll save that one for later.
Yeah, the short answer to your question is no, nobody.
Yeah, okay, thanks, Joe, I appreciate that.
Say,
Any others?
Well, no, never mind.
Yes.
Just forget it. Well, I was just curious, I was wondering what was this access to? And Brian, maybe you can answer. I mean, he said that it was used by people illegally for horses and ORVs, but was it access to the park?
Yes.
And does our parks director have unilateral ability to close off an access to a park because he wants to? I don't, maybe he does and he should, I don't know. But to me, I feel like that should have been something that we discussed here before we did that.
It was never an official access point to the park.
Okay.
It was near the trail that went close to Pinch Highway, and locals just decided that would be a good way to get into that and use it. So I know there were some signs posted for no horse riding in there because we don't allow that in any of our parks. And that stemmed that, but there was still ATV access and that sort of thing. So when the storm took the trees down, they just used that as a natural barrier. It doesn't look good, but I mean, it's there, so.
Right, okay.
we get some logs out of it if we cleaned it up.
You know, we got some logs.
That's a long story.
Hopefully not dogwood. Cottonwood, sorry.
Cottonwood, there you go.
Whatever.
Brian, I'll just say that runs right along the edge of my memory is right along the edge of the landfill.
Well, I was thinking the
Got
landfill.
the landfill at the end of Windsor, and then Pinch, the park goes back around the corner there, and that's where that.
Yeah, and I was thinking it was closer to Pinch, but I couldn't remember the exact relation to the landfill, to Pinch Highway, and to I mean, if you're not looking for landfill, you're not gonna see it easy. So, thank you.
Landfill.
Any others?
Haven't been at that landfill
Stand adjourned.
10, 15 years. I'm sorry?